time, as you say, things do change. And many of this, if not documented, may never be available for future generations.
Currently, in certain institutions of the State Department for Culture, the Arts and Heritage, there are robust programs towards documentation and digitalization of cultural heritage, including cultural sites and cultural practices. One such initiative is the natural products industry that was supported by the government to undertake a pilot program in 13 counties. And one of these programs was going to the communities and asking them what they considered important as their culture. And that has since been, I think that pilot program ended mid this year, but they did document cultural practices from 13 counties, and in line with the constitution of protecting intellectual property rights of communities and accessing benefits and sharing of benefits. There is already a portal that was developed, and for anybody to access and utilize cultural heritage resources, especially those documented for commercial purposes, the communities, through a negotiated program with perhaps the investor or somebody who wants to utilize those cultural heritage resource materials, must provide funding or financial support to the owner community. So that's something that...
Where is this repository located? Who's the custodian? And is this a piece of information available to the public, that they know this is where to go, this is a custodian, this is what I need to do?
The custodian of that information is currently the National Museums of Kenya. But for access and to get license to use that has to be sanctioned by the Cabinet Secretary responsible for matters culture. So we may, perhaps as a government, we are very poor at communicating, but that is a resource that is available. Then I think besides that, there is also digitization and documentation of archival resources at the Kenya National Archives. There's also documentation of our diverse heritage sites. So that is information that is freely available.
Through the National Museums of Kenya?
Through the National Museums of Kenya. Part of it is through the Kenya National Archives. And I think at the Kenya Cultural Center or the National Theatre, they've also done a good job towards documenting their festivals.
All right. Now, Kenya has enjoyed a rather checkered history in as far as the cohesion of its own communities. Now, you're talking about diverse cultures, more than 40 of them, and it's not been easy. So are we saying that there's a role that this arts and heritage and their development playing in as far as national cohesion are concerned? And what kind of face does that have?
Arts and cultural heritage definitely have an important role to play in promoting national cohesion, national identity. First, arts and culture embody our national values, our ethos and mores, and it's through the promotion of some of those values, for instance, on how to treat other communities, how to treat maybe the aged, the young, and other communities as well, that we are able to promote national cohesion through festivals like the Kenya Music and Culture Festival that brings together communities from diverse backgrounds. They are able to, the festival provides a platform for them to share their cultures and to appreciate the cultural diversity. And to me, that is a very strong element in promoting national cohesion. Then we also have our own symbols of national identity that, in my view, are informed by culture. The national anthem, the coat of arms, those are symbols of national identity. And therefore, by just having them, by embracing them as a country, that provides a very good opportunity for us to do that. Other institutions have represented nationalism in diverse ways. If you go to the National Museums of Kenya in the whole of Kenya, there is a monument that is constituted of many shapes and many shapes of gourds with diverse uses from different Kenyan communities. And the reason why it is there is actually to demonstrate that we are one people, we are one community, we have shared national heritage, and that also makes a big contribution to the issue of national cohesion. Then when it comes to aspects of healing and reconciliation as part of our national cohesion, our arts and culture also have traditions and symbols of bringing together communities. If I may draw an example from the Kalenjin community, we have a belt, a cowrie shell beaded belt that is worn by women to firm up their tummies after delivery. And if a woman, for instance, removed that and asked warriors not to wage any war, they will stop doing it. Okay. And there are many others from other communities. The Turkana and Pokot, for instance, would break their spears and instruments of war to demonstrate that war is bad, and that in itself contributes to national cohesion. We also have what I may call encouraging intercultural dialogue through the festivals that I've talked of, and that becomes another good platform where aspects of national cohesion are promoted in this country. I think that those can be representations of how arts and culture plays a role and contributes towards national cohesion in this country.
All right. Perhaps the biggest and most appropriate way of using culture or even educating people about their cultures through the education system. Do you see a gap in our curriculum and as far as culture is concerned? Are we doing enough to ensure that Kenyan children, as they grow up, they understand the need and the importance of cultural development?
For many years that was a challenge, but with the CBE, I think aspects of arts and culture have been integrated into the curriculum, and I believe that will fill that existing gap that is there at the moment. And I think besides that, some schools actually have cultural programs that encourage them to visit cultural institutions, including museums, homestays, amongst others. And that will definitely fill that gap. It may be slow, but at least some efforts are in place at the moment. And we, even through the National Culture and Heritage Policy, there are interlinkages with the Ministry of Education, and that will definitely provide an avenue for doing that. You are also aware of the Kenya Music Festival, that I think it is also in its either 97th, 90th or 99th edition, and that has been a very good platform where cultural performances are inculcated, are showcased for the young community to appreciate that. It is, perhaps it's one of the biggest festivals in this country at the moment, and that attracts, it attracts schools from all parts of the country. And to me, that is a strong illustration that culture and heritage have a role to play, and they've really been integrated in the school curriculum. It may be more on the extracurriculum activity at the moment, but out of that system, there are people, there are students who've excelled in matters arts and culture.
Okay. Now, we're in a day and age where social media is so pervasive, and this is where people consume and share information. A lot of what is shared right now is probably cultures that have been adopted from foreign lands. And are there opportunities, or has the State Department ventured into that sphere to try and propagate what you're working on?
Not in a very robust way, but we are working with the cultural groups from different parts of this country. We also, through initiatives like the ones that I've mentioned, we document and digitalize that. And part of it has gotten into the social media space. The Permanent Presidential Music Commission, for instance, has a strong presence when it comes to showcasing and promoting the musical performances, musical traditions of this country, and a lot of it also happens through social media. And yes, more still needs to be done to ensure that we have a digital presence in social media. And there are Kenyan artists that have actually exploited that. There are Kenyan artists and performers that have exploited that, and some of them are minting millions out of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. One of the biggest conversations and discussions in the past decade or 5 years or so is about the green culture agenda, issues around environmental sustainability. Is there any way that culture assists in this conversation? Definitely, culture is central to all human development. I think that is something that we believe in, and there are initiatives and programs that ensure that the green culture agenda is promoted. For instance, we have we need to incorporate green agenda in our cultural heritage management, and that could be through integration of traditional knowledge in management of culture and cultural sites. I think that is important. Then when it comes to the use of renewable energy sources, I think that is also an important element that some of our institutions have integrated renewable energy sources in their institutions, in cultural sites, in some of the museums. So I think that is something that I consider important. There's also a need to align our national culture and heritage policy to environmental policies as well as Climate Act of 2016. Policies are living documents, whereas that may not have happened to date, but I think it is an agenda to ensure that it is aligned to the green energy agenda.